Hello, everybody. This is Scott Freymuller. We're back on the Knot. Today I have Destry Abbott. He's not only an accomplished athlete, but very accomplished as a man. One of the most impressive people I've ever met, and I've known you for probably 25 plus years.
Seems a lot longer. Yeah.
Yeah, right. As we get older, but you've always been one of those people that has been just amazingly positive. You're a mentor in your sport. You've achieved so much as a man and as an athlete. It's impressive. It's incredibly impressive, and people that have known you, I think you're famous. I know you don't want to say that, but you're famous. You're a well-known individual in your sport, and now in life too. You have a foundation to raise money for people with cancer, which is amazing. Always giving back. We talk about that on the show, but you've done so many things in life that are just beyond what you would expect from people think like riding a dirt bike or whatever, and that's an amazing sport, and you've done so much for it and grown it and helped so many people. Like now you train and all that kind of stuff too, and the main reason why I brought you on the show is so you could not only tell us about like the mindset that you have and how you learned that to be successful as an athlete, but as a father and a husband, and then you had some struggles in your life too, which I'm sure you'll share. I hope you do.
Absolutely.
But tell me how you got started. Like, tell me like when you were a kid and stuff.
So my dad, I grew up living here in Phoenix. Actually, I'm a native here, and just school was tough for me, and I needed an outlet. I was always athletic. I always did sports. I loved basketball, football, track. I wanted to be an athlete. That was kind of my goal, and that was academics was more my outlet, where school was a little tougher for me at times. And but for me, my parents did a great job. Mom and dad they wanted to have something I enjoyed, and with school, it was one of those things where, like I said, it was a struggle. And for me to do well in school, I needed to have sports, and sports was something that held me accountable, basically. And it's one of those things where I was like, all right, if I didn't do well on school, I couldn't go motorcycle riding. My dad grew up racing motorcycles, so I 13 really got into it, and kind of a late bloomer, honestly, for majority of athletes. Nowadays, there's there's so many different things like that, and it was one of those things that I just loved motorcycles and kind of went that direction. And I think it kept me out of trouble. It kept me focused, and it made me appreciate things and understanding work ethic. Like if you work hard at motorcycles, if you train, you do that, it's performance and results, whatever it may be. And it's just like life to me. It's, a lot of people, I would say, I don't want to say nowadays, because this generation's a little different. I work with a lot of athletes and non-athletes also, but nowadays it's a little more like, take a picture of me, do a video, do this. And I'm like, man, let's work. We need to work. This is how you're going to get the results.
Yeah.
So for me, I understood that young. And my dad. My dad's old school. He's in the Army. He was push. And, as I learned, as I got more mature, as I made it to a professional athlete, I realized it's not just old school style where my dad is like, the harder you work, the better it's going to be. And then you learn how to manage that. And so kind of getting back to the school part is that helped me out with understanding, my work ethic went a long ways. And, it's
one of the things I remember is your dad. We talk about your dad. He's a great guy, man. He's a hardcore dude, like you said, for sure. A lot of people take him wrong, but his heart's bigger than this room. The guy's just such a nice guy.
Really intimidating. Like he intimidates me still, and the hardest worker I know. And he comes off as kind of an ass, but he is the biggest softie. He'll do anything for people. Yeah. He'll do things that people don't even know they did for him. That's just, and he doesn't want credit. Don't give him credit because he doesn't like it. You don't tell him thank you.
You're kind of like that too. You're super humble. And
I don't know. I mean, I appreciate things where he's not a thank you kind of guy. He's just, he's old school.
I think that was like our upbringing, right? Yes, my dad was the same way. One of the things I remember, though, is that, as hard as your dad pushed you, he wasn't like, oh, you're a piece of shit, or what the fuck, you didn't win. Yeah. He was always like, man, what can we do better? And that's how you are.
Yes.
And we fast forward a little bit, so you're racing, you're starting to get better and better, and you're one of those guys, too, that has an incredible work ethic, but you also have talent. Yeah. You're a talented guy. Like when you ride a motorcycle, it's freaking amazing. You're a talented guy in everything you do, like sports, you say. And when you said that, I was laughing because you're so freaking competitive with everything.
I am
Like everything. You know, you go like I remember I was at your house for a party or something, and we were playing like cornhole or something, and it was like a championship cornhole. It's funny, man.
I love trash
everything's like
talking.
that.
You got to have fun with
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
you're doing, and I am competitive. I'm almost 50 now, and I'm still competitive.
Yeah, me
and,
too.
Yeah, but I know you're the same way. And
It's so fun, yeah.
but that's what kind of strives us. I need that. I need to be outside. I need to be doing something. I want to win. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. It's whatever it is. I just want to be good at it.
Yeah. So you're doing well in motocross. Graduate. You met Charlotte in high school, right? Your wife.
Just after high school. Yeah, we met at a motorcycle race. It was actually a friend of mine was dating her best friend, I should say, and one of those things that just kind of. We just hooked up. That sounds weird, but we didn't hook up the first night. So
that's funny.
But we did.
We can talk about that in the dating portion. Like we can bring you back and tell us like how to do it. Yeah.
So we've been together since '91. So it's been a while. We've had 2 awesome kids, and now became a grandpa a few weeks ago. So
yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. It's pretty awesome, and she was a blessing for me and someone I needed because we were talking about my dad. My dad was really hardcore, and he would push me. But it was sometimes never good enough, where my wife, Charlotte, she was always really positive. And so I learned a little bit of that side.
Balance.
Yes, it was a great balance for me because I grew up like, my dad would push me in a good way, but it was always kind of maybe more of a negative. It was like, oh, you can't do that. You can't beat that guy. You can't. And I'm like, bullshit, I'm going to prove you wrong. And so I was always trying to prove him wrong as far as that stuff goes. And where my wife she's more the positive, babe, you can do this. And I've learned I like that energy better, as far as like coaches and stuff.
Sure.
I didn't like the coach that would yell or whatever. And I did well when I had a person that was real positive. So the way I train athletes, I train riders, and I have a gym, we work out. And
it's amazing. The energy's always good.
So
it's
good. I'm big about energy. And you always talk about mindset. I'm big about that. Negative energy, nothing comes from negative. Like it's like riding motorcycles. If you think negatively or like what is going to help you out with this negative energy. So I'm big on the mindset, and I think the mindset is a powerful thing, and that's why I love the show, what you're doing. It's just, man, you can do training, whatever it is, but if your mind isn't there, it's pretty amazing. Even with my cancer and my wife's cancer, we haven't even hit on that, but our mindset is so powerful. I think that is helping us out where there's a lot of people that haven't made it, and
that's one of the reasons why you're here.
Yeah,
because you're like that with everything in your life. You always have been.
I've always had up and downs. It's a roller coaster. Life's a roller coaster. So for me, it's just trying to enjoy the ups. Trying not to be on a roller coaster as far as emotional down up. I think that's mentally draining. So I try to keep it a kind of a good. Even when I do really well at something, I try not to get too big of a high because you're always going to come down from that high. It's same thing a low. It's like. I try to stay, and it's harder nowadays as I've gotten older and having side effects and these. So the mental side is a little tough sometimes still, but it's got to smile. It's a practice. It's like anything. So
So when you you meet Charlotte, sorry.
Yeah.
You guys get married. You're on Factory Kawasaki before you have Kelsey, right?
We had my daughter pretty early actually. We were a little over a year, and then it was one of those oops.
Okay.
But so we weren't even married. Yeah, we got married after. I'll make it a quick story, but we were going to a race in Vegas, and it was a year. My daughter Kelsey was a year and a half.
Yeah.
So we stopped in Vegas on the way to a race, got married, and then went to the race. So it was kind of like
that's cool. I didn't know that story.
We grew up in a single wide trailer, so we had nothing, and we kind of have grown from that, of course, but. That's what I tell people is people see what you have now, and I'm like, hey, it's taken a lot of time to get to this point.
And a lot of work.
So she's been amazing and always supportive, and so it's been good.
I remember too, when I was younger, it was a family affair for you.
Oh, absolutely.
And that didn't seem to work for a lot of people in any sport.
Yes.
Having your parents there and your wife there and your baby there, but I just remember you were always one of those guys that was like, hey, come on in. Factory Kawasaki, I mean, you're a professional athlete now, behind the banners, and you got a semi and all this support and mechanics and all this stuff. And you managed that with your family too. You built this amazing foundation with your family, and you were all inclusive. even with your friends. You know, I could always say like, I know you, I know who you are, but anytime I ever see you, you're always like, hey, come over here, Frey. Like, hey, what's up? You know, and that was one of the things that really built the sport, but it also built people's confidence. It built them as individuals. And that's impressive. That's one of those things that, you know, you don't see very often. You don't see it very often in any sport, really, you know, because you're busy and, you know, clearly you want to win and you want to beat that guy like you were talking about, you know, and there's so many things going on, which we'll talk about some of that, but just your whole mindset and that whole mentality of like being all inclusive all the time is so impressive. Like that's an example. And, you know, maybe you could talk about that a little bit, like how you managed all those things going on.
Yeah, it was tough, and you nailed it. I'm a family guy. My priority is family. Like that's number one to me. If there's anything I'm going to give up, I'll give up everything besides my family, and they're the ones that are there for me. Family and friends. You know, it's like you just said, Scott. You show up in an event, I'm like, hell, let me take you for a tour in the semi or whatever. If I have time, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just an atmosphere that I like to be around. It's a good energy to me, and everybody's a little bit different. Some people aren't that way, and it's a tough balance as far as, you know, with having family at the race because you're trying to manage it. But I had a good enough family to where they support me and they knew when I needed my time, when I didn't. But yeah,
that's a huge stress. You know, I did it at an amateur level, and just you know, prepping the motorcycle and making sure that you're mentally ready. That you're confident, you know, you're not worried about getting hurt. There's so many things going on. Like you think about tires and tire pressure and all these different things. I mean, there's so much stuff. Like what you're going to eat, if you have enough water, and you know, you're a multi-time national champion, like Hare and Hound, and I mean, you've won so many events and proven yourself over and over and over and over for a long period of time. I think your racing career is as long as anybody's, really. I mean, you've been on a motorcycle since I can remember.
Yeah,
you know?
I still love it. It's my outlet. It's my therapist. You know,
Yeah.
I love, like, even after this, maybe go out for a little ride. I don't know, just being on two wheels, if it's on the street, dirt, whatever it is, it's my happy place and
That's cool,
takes my
man.
mind off other things. So I think everybody kind of needs an outlet, and that's my outlet for sure.
That's awesome. But your other outlets too, you know, you're cycling, you're playing basketball, you're, you know, the cornhole championship, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like everything's competitive always. So yeah, you know, there's multiple outlets, but also your family is too.
Yes.
You know, supporting your family and you know, you won a whole bunch of championships. I don't know how many did you win?
10.
10 championships.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
then 8 gold medals, most in Europe and stuff. So,
at the
so
ISDE.
ISDE, correct.
That was amazing.
Yes, thank you.
The 6 days enduro, that's crazy.
So I'm very, very blessed as far as that goes. But yeah. I'm so lucky. You know, when I was young, I never thought I'd be in these shoes. You know, I wanted to make a living racing or whatever, and I'm like, but I had so many other people that were better than me, and we talked about work ethic, and I had talent. I knew I had talent, but there were so many other riders that were more talented than me, but they didn't have the work ethic, or they had the other distraction, girls, drugs, whatever, and I just was not a party person. I just enjoyed being active. I enjoyed the adrenaline. I was an adrenaline junkie. I just wanted to be doing stuff and sweating and working and just being in a good place,
and being around outside.
Being around good people. It's just like that to me is what life's about. And I think we need to get back to that a little bit more. There's so many distractions nowadays. I know now I'm catching myself getting off my phone a lot more just because there's a lot of negative energy right now. And I don't do well with negative energy. And we have it. I try to balance it out, but I have enough of it that I don't need more negative. Watching the news or whatever.
Not being present on the phone.
Present. That's very, very well said. Yes.
So, you know, you win all these championships, and I mean, one of the things that fascinates me is just being able to achieve that, right? Like you win, and then you're like, holy shit, I won. Like I have to win again.
Yes.
Right?
Which is even harder.
Right. Then it gets harder and harder
when
and
harder. When they
and then
expect
people have
you to. Exactly. And then when you have a manager and this, and the team's behind you, and then when you don't win, what happened? And you're like,
like why?
I just got beat.
Why
I don't know.
like,
today wasn't my day, but it is tough. But you know, it's.
And people don't understand the level of intensity that it is, because your body wears down to almost nothing.
Yes.
And then you're, you know, doing 100 miles an hour plus across the desert or on a track or jumping jumps, and it's like, it's precision. It's like absolute freaking precision. You know, getting the motorcycle to be where you want it to be, having your body position correct, having the energy to do that, and then not crash and get hurt or manage 50,000 other things that are going on around you, you know, downed riders or, you know, a lapper or whatever's happening. I don't think you can really understand everything that goes on unless you've actually raced a motorcycle.
Yes.
And that is it's not only like one of the coolest things I've ever done, and I know it is for you too, but like that feeling of having that ability is amazing. You know, your hands are moving, your wrist, you're putting pressure on the bars, on the pegs, you're shifting, you're braking, you're looking all over the place, you know. You can feel how the motorcycle's running. You're like, fuck, do I have a flat tire? Am I the way? You know what I mean? Like there's a billion things going on through your mind, and you do it for 2+ hours. That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
That's like, talk about that ability to do that. How'd you manage that?
That was a tough. You nailed on a little bit as far as there's those days that just everything just happens. You're one with the bike is what we like to call it.
Yeah.
Or like a player, they're in the zone, you know,
Right.
whatever it is. And it's like some days it's super easy. And then there's some days, and then you win. And there's some days you want it even more and you try harder and it's harder for you. Meaning you want it even more, I should say, I guess. And it makes it harder when you want something more. You know, it's like, it's one of those things that sometimes you struggle with that flow. And
Where like if you relax sometimes?
yeah, exactly. And I tell my guys is like, hey, slow down a little bit, let it come to you. And it sounds corny. A couple of them give me crap because I say let it come to you. But I'm like, hey, back it down a little bit, make it flow a little bit more. And then it starts happening. And the next thing you know, you start picking up the pace, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Not even motorcycle related, but other sports or whatever. And it's tough. I think it's just practicing. I think a lot of it comes with practice more than at the race. It's not just show up to the race. There's so much more that goes into it.
So much more,
and that's yoga, the mental, breathing, training, being confident, knowing you're going into a race or not having an injury. There's so many distractions that are really, some people don't deal with well, and then some do. And I felt like that was something, I liked the adversity. I liked having a struggle, and if it's raining, it's pouring, and it's just muddy, and this sucks.
Yeah.
It's challenging. I know everybody's dealing with this. So to me, I'm like, why am I going to be, this is what everybody else is dealing with too. So for me to sit here and be pissed off or dwelling on this sucks.
Right.
Nothing's good going to come out of that. Where I like to be positive and like, all right, let's take advantage of this.
That grateful attitude.
And that's parenting. That's everything else. That's my wife. You know, it's just having a good support system. And I think, you know, I've watched your show before, and having a support system is big to me. You know,
huge.
it's having people around you that are there for you. You know, having good friends with us with cancer, having people come out and, you know, reach out to us. I'm like, wow, that took a lot of load off us. And that's kind of, I think, a lot of racing aspect to it too.
I think a lot of what you're talking about relates to life. You know, that's one of the reasons why you're here, because you lead your life like you do as a professional athlete too. It's the same thing. So, so you have your daughter, Kelsey, and then Cooper's born, and their kids, and they're going along through this whole thing with you in the motocross world, the off-road industry, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And Cooper never really was into it until, like, what, he was 15 or 14?
14, 15.
14,
yeah. And now he's a professional athlete.
Now he's like one of the best.
Yeah, now he just finished second in the country, and now he's
for endurocross.
Yeah,
right?
for
That's
endurocross,
amazing.
and he's 23. And
where do you think that's attributed to? Did you coach him, or did he just be like, Dad, leave me alone?
I didn't push him. Like, you know, I didn't want to force my kid. You know, like I said, I work with a lot of young kids, athletes, and I see some parents that are yelling at their kid and doing this, and I'm like, man, they're kind of living vicariously through their kid, and I didn't want to be that. I knew how hard what I did was, and I'm like, if he wants to do it, I'll support him.
It's his journey.
Exactly. He loved playing basketball. He's the same thing. He's a ball stick sport kind of kid, and he loved running track. He loved doing all that stuff. And Kelsey, my daughter, had a track scholarship. So we grew up doing sports, and motorcycles was just something that really took it to another level. And Cooper felt a lot of pressure following in my footsteps, which I understood. And I would always tell him, buddy, like, nobody cares. Do not worry about what they think. You know, it's like, oh, Destry's son's not as good as I thought he'd be or whatever. And I'm like, buddy, you're putting that into your head yourself. And I'm like, nobody cares. And so when he realized that and he started having fun with it, and it was just a blast, then it just started taking off. And it took a while. It's mindset.
It's mindset.
Mindset, and that's what we say. It's, to me, the biggest powerful thing in your body is your mind. Like I'm huge on that. I think that's a huge thing, and I think that's where he's at. Now he's confident. Confidence is huge. You know, it's like,
but he's not cocky.
No, he's not cocky. He better not be cocky. I would slap the kid. I will not.
No,
I don't deal with cocky. I don't deal with cocky.
But he's like super. It's just so amazing to me. Like, he's so just poised. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when he started riding, I could tell he was good. He had the talent. Yeah. Right. But I could also tell, like, you're like, hey, here's a motorcycle, and if your journey is to ride this thing, that's cool. But also, if your journey is to compete and be a professional, that's cool too. But that's your choice.
Right.
And you never pushed that. And like you're saying, like I was out the track the other day just riding, and I saw you out there actually.
Right.
I was
Yep,
riding around
yep.
the track, and a couple of the dads were out there yelling at their kids, and I'm like, man, it makes it not fun.
Right.
And then you realize too that like they've never probably competed in anything.
Right.
So they don't understand the pressure of even at practice. And they're out of practice and they're like, oh, go faster. And then the kid pulls on the track and chases another kid at practice. And I'm like,
dangerous.
dude, you're missing the whole point
Yes.
here. You're missing the whole point of the sport and of being an athlete or even competing at all in any sport, you know? And I was like, God, and Nate's like, Dad, how come you don't yell at me? I'm like, because this is your journey, bud.
Yes.
If you want me to help you, you can ask me for help, but I'm not going to like make you do something that you don't want to do because it's not fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're out here to live life and enjoy and ride a motorcycle and be thankful that we can even ride a motorcycle.
Exactly.
And I think that's where you start. I think that's the base. I know that's the base.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a healthy base, a healthy mindset, and that pressure is going to come on its own just from competing.
Yeah.
That's all the pressure you need, you know?
And I put pressure on myself. Like my manager, whatever, mechanic, whatever, the guys around me, I'm like, they knew they didn't have to put pressure on me. They didn't need to tell me anything. I'm like, I was harder on myself than anybody else could be.
Right.
And sometimes I was too hard on myself, and Charlotte would be like, babe, calm down.
Chill.
Like you need to just relax. And
Like
she's right. I don't want to tell her that to her face, but she was right. No.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's
No, you should tell her that to her face.
yeah, I know. I do. Trust me. Yeah, exactly.
I remember you said something earlier about, not forcing things. We say like, let it go.
Yes.
I actually wrote that on my mirror, like, let it go.
Yeah.
That's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
But I remember we were riding one time. I think I was in one of your classes or something. And, we were riding these corners and I was like driving in super hard and like get on the brakes really hard. And then it's like, rah. And you're like, dude, if you just chill a little bit, you'll go way
Yes.
faster.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Slow down to go faster.
Yeah, like just
Yes.
relax a little bit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like let the bike flow, let it roll. Don't freaking
Right.
brake so hard, then get on the gas. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that's like life.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's like doing that. It's like life. It's like learning that. Hey, man, relax a little bit.
Right.
Things are gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna work out. You're gonna if you don't push so hard, things will be way, way better.
Right.
So we get through all this stuff. You're a multinational champion. You got two amazing kids, and then you and Charlotte get diagnosed with cancer essentially at the same time.
Correct. 2016. I was diagnosed. I was up in Idaho racing, and just I knew for a while. I was seeing doctors, blood tests, which they ended up missing. The signs were there, but it was one of those things that I just couldn't figure out why. I'm like, I don't know if I'm just getting older, whatever it is. And I was still racing at a professional level, and I was in my 40s, but I'm like, I just don't feel right. And so I flew home in May from Idaho and went straight to the hospital because I was in so much pain and diagnosed with leukemia, ALL, Ph positive, and which is kind of a really rare for older. It's more of a children's thing.
Yeah, my mom had that.
Is that right? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then my wife, 3 months later, was diagnosed with breast cancer. While we were back in Houston, she felt a lump, and I'm like, there's no way this could happen, and well, it did. So one of those things that it was a new fight for us, a new race, basically, is the way I looked at it. I'm like, all right, what do we got to do? I trusted the doctors. We had a great group of people around me and a great group of people around Charlotte. So we're pretty fortunate to be where we are today, even though now her breast cancer's back now in her bones and dealing with some other
She's pretty
stuff.
sick
and
right now,
she's not doing the best, but she's mental side, she's
tough.
She's the toughest one in our family. She's the glue in our family. I tell people that. I'm like, she's the one that keeps us all together. She knows how to fight more than anybody, and her pain tolerance is unbelievable. So she's a strong woman, and now we're just dealing with a lot of issues there and working on trying to.
How did you manage that? You not only managed a marriage from basically out of high school, but you managed it with travel and being an athlete and having kids and all those life things that are going on that a lot of people don't manage, right? And then you get diagnosed with cancer, you and your wife, that's like unbelievable in itself. Mm-hmm. But you're managing all this stuff. How do you do that? Like, what advice would you?
And that's like you see me. I like to smile, I like to have a good time, but trust me, I have struggles.
I know.
I have
We all do.
PTSD. Yeah, we all do. And and I guess, coming from my dad, I just wasn't good at opening up to people about it. So I would just put on a fake face. So to say I managed it well, I don't know if I would say I managed it well, because I mean, I would cry at night, and I don't
Sure.
have a problem saying that. I just was in a tough spot. And
Yeah.
even nowadays, I have plenty of side effects. And now with my wife, what she's dealing with and seeing her in pain, Tuesday we went to go to her chemo appointment downtown, and she was so sick and crying and throwing up that we had to reschedule it for next week now. And it's just,
my God.
so to me, it's like, man, I deal with a lot emotionally that it sucks nowadays, but at the same time, we're both like, we're very lucky. Talked about my grandson, and now having him in our life has been a blessing, because it takes our mind off it. My daughter came over, she lives in California. She came over last weekend and spent a few days there. But as far as managing it, I think we just stay positive. We try to enjoy each other. We try to watch a movie, have dinner. We just try to do what we can. And we listen to our bodies, because there's days where she's hurting, and, I'll either cook or we'll get something or whatever. We just try to listen to ourselves and listen to our body, and communicate. I think communicating is huge. Something I've had to really work on. And
Yeah,
I think
we all do, right?
Yeah, and I think that's gotten a lot better though. So,
One of the things about this show is exactly what you just said, is that, and even me, growing up, I think our fathers were similar. They're pretty hardcore guys,
Yeah.
and being able to cry, like, it's okay to cry, like
Right.
that's fucking okay.
Yeah.
And I think more people should do it. But one of the things with this show, like this foundation, is based on people that are scared to get help. Like, they're scared to go talk to somebody,
Yes.
because they're either going to be judged, or they think like, oh, as a man I can't cry, or I can't have feelings, or that is an alpha male. That is a man. Being able to show your feelings is a man, right? Because I don't want Nathan, you don't want Cooper, Kelsey, or
Right.
even your grandkid to grow up and be
Yes.
like, oh, I'm going to hold all this shit in and be all messed up.
Yes.
And that's what's not okay, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this, to tell people and show people like, hey, here's a guy that has his stuff together beyond. But things happen in your life that you can't control, and you have to manage it. And in managing that, you have emotions, you have challenges, you have, like Charlotte throwing up the other day, going to the thing. Like, I wanted her here to come on the show and talk
Right.
about your marriage.
Yep.
And you're like, dude, she can't.
Right.
And that's heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But you're still, you're pushing every day, and you're still training. I think you trained somebody this morning, you said, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
And Cooper's racing now, and there's so many things going on now. Your grandfather and Kelsey's husband now.
Yeah.
He's a professional athlete too. He's
Yes,
a
he is.
freestyler, and really
Correct.
super good too.
Yeah, he's the most decorated X Games athlete. So he does really well too. And
Yeah.
he's an Australian, and he's
a cool kid.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Really.
Not a kid. He's a cool.
Well,
he's a cool man. Yeah.
He's a kid to me. So
Yeah.
he's in his 20s. So he's a kid.
He's a kid.
So we have I mean, that's when I tell you, when I say we're blessed, I use the word a lot, but I really feel like we are. We have.
Yeah. It's
I
that
couldn't
grateful
ask
attitude.
for a better family. I'm like, man, we have great times. Are they always great? No, but we enjoy the good times, and we know we have struggles. We learn from our struggles.
Yeah.
It's just like life. We talk about that, and it's good. I can't complain one bit. And,
Yeah.
Seeing them grow up, we want to be there with them as much as we can, and enjoying
cool,
life as
man.
much as we can right now.
That's super cool. I just, it's so funny. We say, like, the outside looking in, like you're saying, you at night you go cry or whatever,
Yeah.
but on the outside you're like, hey man, what's going on? Let's go
Yeah,
ride.
exactly.
And it's okay too. We talk about truth a lot in here, and we, even for me, I'm like that also. I don't want to share like things in my life that are negative or whatever, and I never did.
Yeah.
So from the outside, like, I always looked successful and great, but on the inside I'm like dying,
Yeah.
and I felt like I ran at 80% for a long time, and I talked about that on the show. I just said everything truth.
Yeah.
But right now in your life, you're looking for red flags. Like, if there's something that you do that would be out of character for you, or you're in a really bad mood for a little while or whatever, it's something you need to address.
Yeah.
So how are you managing that? Do you see a counselor or anything, or?
I don't. I think it's more Charlotte. I mean, my counselor is back to the motorcycle. That's my one time where I could just shut down. It's like after even taking a nap or whatever it is, like listening to my body. And I have not seen anybody, and that's something that I went to go see somebody, and it just didn't work out or whatever. But I think communicating with the family, Cooper, Kelsey, I reached out to them. I don't mind opening up,
Right.
and you talked about it a little bit, kind of not to jump around. But it's like when people see me, they see me smile and all that, and I'm like, same thing you just said. I'm like 80%. Sometimes I'm not as happy inside as I am outside, and that's a struggle I'm doing. But I don't want people to see a negative energy. I don't want me walking around moping. I just don't think anything good comes out of that. But I am trying to manage myself personally. I was trying to
be truthful.
Be truthful. That's well said. And I'm still. I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you. I'm still dealing with that.
I do too.
With there's days I don't feel good and where my future is. The hospital gives me maybe 10 years or whatever, and I'm like, crap. I'm already 5 years in, and I'm like, it's scary to think that way. But that's why I try to have fun with everything
and live every day to its fullest.
And it sounds corny or whatever, but it really is that way. And it's hard because people don't understand it unless they've been in the shoes. I didn't understand it. Someone tells you, oh, I've been really sick too. And I'm like, dude, it's not. It's kind of a slap in the face. It's not the same, and it's like when you don't know the time we have left, and none of us do, but when you're having side effects and you're not able to live the life that you kind of would like to live. And some of that has to do with me now, as far as I should probably be eating better. I need to be more active, but it's managing.
But you also have to live.
That's what I said. It's managing like, man, I got to go to the hospital today. I got to take Charlotte here. I got to do it. So there's just so much on the plate, and just trying to manage that.
That's a shit ton of stress.
It's tough, and the stress is probably what affects other issues, because I do get stressed out, and I know that causes other issues. So it's a snowball effect, and as far as talking, I think that's my number one thing is just talking to people. Charlotte and I'll sit on the back porch at night or in the morning, have a coffee, and just talking. And I think that goes a long ways. And that's something I had to learn a little bit more about and open up. And now that we're doing that, it seems to be better too.
It's funny how, if you share and you have your truth, it sounds like Charlotte, that's your truth. That's when you can be you.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's a cool thing.
Yes.
And out in public, I say public, right? Like when we're out, if you're at the track or you're at a party or whatever, that's not really the time generally to be like, hey, how you doing? Oh man, I'm like,
right.
I totally get it, right?
Yes,
like you have to have emotional intelligence too.
Exactly.
I think that's what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not going to sit there and be negative to this person. Oh,
No.
this sucks.
Oh,
I'm like,
me.
and I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want someone to feel sorry for me.
Right.
I hate that feeling, and I'm like, no.
You want the positive, like
Yes.
so. I think what you're saying is like if you're positive, you're gonna get that back. Like if you come out and you're like, yeah, man, that's cool. Oh, Daz, you're so badass. Like, thank you so much. Like you need that energy to help you.
Yeah, I don't need it for my ego. I just need.
You need it to stay like alive.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want people feeling sorry for me, and that's one thing I've never liked.
You're not a victim.
Yeah, I'm not.
You never have
like,
been.
Man,
like you never make excuses ever.
Yeah, not to sound weird, but I'm like, man, if my time is up, I've actually had an amazing life. I literally.
You're super grateful for
I
anything.
am so grateful. I don't regret anything, and that's just the way it should be. When we have our cancer foundation. We haven't even talked about that. But when we were back in Houston and I see the pediatric, I see these kids, and I'm my heart is, I could literally tear up when I see the little guys.
Because they haven't had the life yet.
And they're strong, amazing kids, but it's the caregivers, the mom, the dad. And, now that I'm a caregiver for Charlotte, and I'm like, wow, when we both had cancer, we had cancer at the same time, which was really tough.
Yeah.
But my daughter and son were there for us, and I didn't realize how hard it was for them and how hard it is now for me, because this is a totally different beast. And I'm like, man, it was almost easier being that person, being sick and just focusing on surviving versus the one that has to deal with this and see someone in pain. If you see your son, like, it's a horrible feeling when you see your kid sick or and there's nothing you can do. And that's what it's like almost every day. And it's just like, man, there's
a lot of challenges.
There's a lot of challenges. Yeah. And that's why I tell people, just enjoy life. You don't realize what you have until it's gone. And that's kind of where it is. And it's like, not that anything's gone for us, but it's like, enjoy those good moments, because you don't know. And it's, it's one of those things that people don't understand until it's too late. You tell someone how to be a parent or whatever it may be. Right. It's like, enjoy it. And then as you get older, you tell the kids, enjoy high school, enjoy this. You're going to wait till you have pressure, wait till you have, a lot on your plate. And I'm like, now I get it. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
damn it, I won't tell my dad he's right, but he's right on that one too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. They
so-
usually are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Your wife and your dad are always right. Yeah, and your mom.
I do a lot of things now that my mom and dad or my dad does, and I'm like, oh crap, I used to hate that. Now I'm doing the same thing with Cooper
Yeah.
or with Kelsey, and I'm like, but that's just that's parenting, I guess, and
Yeah.
you know,
It's life too.
It is.
But
you want to give them the best they can have, I guess.
So you have so much going on right now, you know, like you said, your timeline, like you might only have 5 years left.
Yeah.
You know, your wife is sick, and
Yeah.
but you're focusing this whole time on all this positive stuff. You know, Brian Willingham was on here,
Oh, that's
one of our
cool.
first
Yes.
guests, and
Yes.
he's an amazing guy. And,
Yep.
and he had so many things happen in his life, but he's like you. He's positive. He's about his family. He's about his wife. You know, he's about keeping his things in order. You know, keeping his shit together, so to
Yep.
speak. Really, like you are.
Yep.
But never once did he ever say anything like a victim or
Right.
woe was me or made an excuse, not one time. Just like you. And I think that's the example of healthy, is that, right? However you manage your stuff in life is up to you, and that's your journey. But how you, like your demeanor and your message and all that kind of stuff, it's always been positive. That was my point, you know, when we first started this, is that you're one of those people that I've never seen ever make an excuse. I've never heard you say, oh, that's not my fault. Or, oh,
Right.
you know, no, that guy did that to me. I've never heard you
Right.
once, or anyone around you.
Yeah.
You know, we have a common friend, Dan.
Oh yeah.
And Dan, that guy's like never.
Oh, he's a best friend. He's another one that I reach out to a lot
Yeah.
and talk to.
Great dude.
We went
Just
to
a great
dinner
guy.
a couple days ago, and you know, I don't get to do it too often, and I'm like, man, I really needed that. I needed someone else to vent to.
Right.
Maybe vent's maybe not the right word, but it's kind of
Yeah,
like I
that's
needed
cool.
someone else to talk to.
Sure.
And I, like I say, I don't open up to a lot of people. I have a pretty tight group of people
Yeah,
around me, and
yeah.
you know, having somebody to talk to, and that's what I think number one for me was just not holding it in. Like,
Right.
you know, it's like if you're a good friend or a good family or whatever, you need somebody to communicate with and explain. You know, I see, you know, we have our foundation, which we deal with a lot of PTSD and people that don't do well, and you know, it's just having that negative energy is just, it's not good.
It's horrible,
And you know,
yeah.
it's just like being depressed. It's not going to help anybody. And then before long, we've lost a few people because they didn't reach out, and we're like, oh, I wish they would have known about that.
Right.
And they took their own life, and I'm like, oh, that's, you know,
That
I'm like, I
sucks,
wish we
man.
would have did that. I wish we would have known. So that's why I think it's really important for people to communicate.
And have that route. Like this foundation is going to be about that. Like you can call in for free.
Yeah,
and
see,
talk.
that
And that's
is
what we're establishing, right? So
so
nobody would
big.
know. So
Yes.
if your partner's giving you a hard time about getting help, or you don't have money or whatever, or you don't want to put on your credit cards, you don't want anybody to know, or you don't want to go through your work or your
Yes.
benefits, just call and we'll figure that out. You know what I mean? And
That's
that's what we're
amazing.
building now, and that's
Dude.
what this show's about, right?
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, and so it'll help everybody. But
Yeah.
you know, one of the things that we were talking about earlier is that you know, that gratitude, but that gratitude also makes you want to give back, like outside of yourself. Like you've always lived outside yourself, and that was one of the things I touched on that earlier. You know, like anytime I'd see you at the track, or hey Des, like what tire do you run? And you're like, well,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and the technical. You know, like people think like racing cars or NASCAR or IndyCar or whatever, but every sport is so technical. Like if you get deep down and you're like, well, you know, your tire's too wide, and if your tire's too
Right.
wide, it's going to ride out of the rut. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I rode dirt bikes my whole life. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
And then you're like, well, you know, you can run this tire pressure.
Yeah.
You don't want to go too blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
That's,
what?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And then, you know, now I think it was you. I was at the track one day and we were talking about chassis or whatever.
Yeah.
How you have to torque everything on the motorcycle so it
Right.
actually flexes and
Exactly.
it handles totally different.
Yep.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But this
But
is
that's
why
like
we
free.
need 6 different motorcycles. You got to have one for corner tracks, a sand
Yeah,
track,
right.
moto,
Yeah.
desert. You know, I'm like,
It's so funny.
I got to do a 790, right? I need an adventure ride. But yeah, it's
so
exact-
technical. It's amazing.
Technical.
It's so technical, right?
Yes.
And then, you know, your gear and how you sit on the motorcycle and your body position and all these things are so amazingly technical.
Yeah.
But you gave that away for so long. I mean, I know you're training riders now and you're getting
Yeah.
paid for it, but you give so much back, and you always have. So, you know, and I use that example, like, hey, you know, what tire do I run? And you're like, well, you know, it's gonna be a sand track and this
Yeah,
and that. Or
yeah.
when, you know, I was really, really fortunate. Me and Alex McKellier went to
yeah.
ISD, remember?
Yes, I
And you're
did.
like, oh yeah, come over to my house and I'll show
Yeah.
you guys how to change tires and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And you gave me your tire changer.
Yep.
We put everything in a shipping container. We shipped it to Brazil.
Yep.
But that was like, I couldn't have known any of that stuff.
Right.
You're like, hey, come over and I'll show you all this shit. You know, as a factory rider, you were riding for Cowie then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is so cool. Like, what a gift, you know?
I don't know though. I think that's. I don't know. I don't even think of myself that way as far as,
But
I
you
just.
always do. You
Yeah,
always
but
do
I
that.
enjoy it. I'm an enthusiast. I'm a fan of the sport. I love seeing other riders do well. I love seeing, and it's like me with my training now. I'm like, I love seeing people reach goals
Yeah.
and doing things and having a little percentage maybe to do with it. And they call me and they're excited. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, it actually makes me feel good. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I've been working with this guy for a couple months and now he got his first win. And now and I'm like, dude, I love that. And he's excited. So that makes me feel better. And
you're achieving things.
Yeah,
and
and it's
your
just-
fitness and your mental ability and all that goes together.
absolutely. I think it's a big package and they're having fun and it's making the sport safer. And,
Yeah.
it
is. That's key too.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the ability is huge, right? Just even
Yes.
understanding that.
Yes.
We get back to that giving, like that's always been your mentality. But even if somebody was on the side of the road and they had a flat tire, you'd stop. That's just the kind of guy you are. It's not all about the sport. You know what I mean? That's just who you are.
Yeah.
So then we fast forward and now you have a charitable foundation. Tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah. So when my wife and I were back in Houston, we were dealing with cancer and stuff. And one of those things that we had so many people in our motorcycle industry reach out and help out. My daughter started a GoFundMe at the time, and financially we were like, oh, this is really tough. And so we had so many people step up. When we saw a lot of people back there that didn't have the support, and then it was like, oh my gosh, this is something
it's a big deal.
we need to do. We need to start a 501c3, and we wanted to give back. And we've been doing that since 2017. Took a little bit to get everything in order to get it running and stuff. And now we just help cancer patients on, even it's just food, housing, flights, whatever it is, to go to different places and,
treatment.
It's treatment,
take care of their family if
and
they
take
have
the
to travel.
stress off. And, it's not a big foundation. We're still growing it. And now it's kind of taking a step back because Charlotte's pretty much,
other shit going on,
we volunteer our time. So we had to take a step back on that, but we're still helping out right now. And, we enjoy it. It's another thing that's rewarding for us because we were very lucky to have so many people that we saw that wasn't the case. And now we can help a lot of other people are in a tough situation. And we talk about that, that energy of being stressed about, oh, I can't make my phone bill or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now we'll to help out with that. And we enjoy
huge,
that.
man.
So, and
That's
I talk to a lot of the males that are dealing with stuff, you were talking about with what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of people on the phone. My wife talks to a lot of the females, more breast cancer, and just to make them understand that you're not alone. This is normal, what you're feeling. This is depression or anxiety, whatever it is. I'm like, this is normal.
And this is how you guys got
This
through
is,
it or
and
getting
it's the
through
same
it.
thing.
Yeah.
They're like, and I think it helps when people hear that Charlotte and I have both been through it. As far as we have a lot of low moments that a lot of people don't see that are outside. And I'm like, I want you guys to understand that this is normal. Like, it's a struggle. It's still a struggle to me. And, some days I wake up and things are awesome. Then some days I'm just sad and I don't know why. I'm searching on why do I feel this way? Like, why am I so upset or why am I so sad? Because I have no reason to be. But it's like that mindset, getting back to it, is just a
correcting
powerful
that
thing.
thought process.
And
being present, right?
Correct. And me going hiking or taking my dog out for a walk or whatever it is, and just resetting. And sometimes those endorphins, releasing those endorphins and being active is just
it's like a drug.
It's a drug.
It's a drug, yeah.
I'm not big on, drugs, medicine, and stuff like that. I want to do everything as natural as I can and possible, but to me, that is the best alternative for me. Yeah.
One of the things too is the reason why I started doing this. A couple people were like, "Hey, what makes you qualified?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not. I'm just transferring information.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be a medical professional or a mental health professional, but as I went through all my stuff from the fire department and other stuff that happened in life, I went to counseling for a really long time, and when this idea of this show came on, I was like, well, why would I do it? And they go, because people don't want to hear from a medical professional. They want to hear from somebody who dealt with life and somebody who can relate to it, just like you and Charlotte. And that's key.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to talk about something if you're not there.
Right.
I get the mental aspect of it and I get the science of it, like how your brain works and, psychology and all that kind of stuff. I totally get it. But what they're saying is like the masses want to relate to somebody who is scared to get help, somebody who dealt with death, somebody who dealt with
they
all
can
that
relate
stuff in
to.
cancer.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
You know, all those things. And that's so powerful because you're like, oh shit, this is like a regular dude.
Yeah.
You know, a regular lady who's amazing, and you're so successful in life, and you have this great marriage, and you know, there's a lot that you can say about a lot of different things.
Right.
You know, just from an athlete perspective, a marriage perspective, as a man, you know, you demonstrate like what a good person is every day, and you're honest about it too. Like when you say, hey, I wake up sometimes and I'm bummed out.
Yeah.
So do we all.
Right.
Like, what do you do
exactly.
to get out of that? Oh, I go hiking. I go outside. I like.
Yeah.
I be present. Like I'm sitting in a black chair, like me and
Right.
Shelly were talking about earlier. You know,
Yeah.
like just shit like that.
Yeah.
It helps you so much to get back in that space of being grateful, not being a victim, you know, but also realizing your truth and realizing like where you're really at and accepting that, right?
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It is. And
That takes courage.
Absolutely. And everybody's a little different on what their outlet is or whatever.
Right.
And I think it's just finding it, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a good place right now as far as that goes. But, you know, I still have the struggles because of Charlotte with everything she's dealing with.
Gotta
But
be tough,
yeah, it is, but it's, again, it's life. It's, you know, we're not alone. There's plenty of other people that have it worse or they have it the same or whatever it may be. And, you know, we see it. We see other people and I'm like, wow, all right, what we have isn't that bad. You know, we're both here. We're both fighting. You know, we're always going to fight. You know,
Right.
I want to be here for my family as long as I can.
Yeah.
And I want to just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, empathy goes so far. You know, just people say, we always say like not to compare because your brain doesn't know the difference between pain. You know what I mean? Like you break your leg or, you know, you have cancer or you see somebody die. It's the same. It's like your brain doesn't know the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's never about comparing. It's not like, oh, this person has a harder life than me or whatever. But that empathy, not to say like, hey, I know how you're feeling. Because I don't. I don't know how you're feeling. How can I know that, right?
Yeah.
But I can sympathize with you and I can show empathy and be like, man, tell me how you're feeling. Instead of, you know what I'm saying? It's like the word choice you use is incredible. And it's
well
healing
said.
in itself, you know? Like, I would never say, like when I was a fireman or whatever, I'd never be like, oh my God, I know, like, oh, you broke your leg? Oh, I know exactly how that feels.
Yes,
No,
exactly.
I don't actually.
Yes.
You know, I broke my leg, but that's my leg.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
So it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying, you know, that's what you guys are doing with just talking to people on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, yeah, tell me about it. Oh, you know, here's what we did. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
never like, oh, I know how you feel. Here's what you
Yeah.
need to do.
Right,
No, dude, it's your journey. Just like when you're teaching Cooper how to ride, you know?
Absolutely.
It's his journey. That's
Yep.
his deal, his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You try to point someone, you give them advice or direction or listening and just sitting back and listening. I mean, that's what I have friends will do to me. And I'm like, wow, thank you. Like it felt good to get it off my chest, you know?
Yeah.
And then for you, like we talked about, Dan is one of my closest friends, and to have him just listen sometimes and not feel sorry for me and go, okay, well, maybe we should do this, or hey, let's get out and go do. And I'm like, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. It's just having good friends, having good family is
staying active and staying in that deal. You know,
and as you get older, the body starts hurting a little bit more, but just changing things up. You know, let's just go for a drive, or let's go do this. Let's go up to the Flagstaff. Let's go. You know, different things like that. And you know,
when you say like you're never alone, there was a time when I thought like I was totally alone. And then I look, like you look in your phone, you know, like you're not supposed to.
Right,
And there's
yeah,
like
yeah,
1,000 people I could call.
Yeah.
There's so many people I could call, or I could go out to the track, or I can go to anywhere and talk to anybody really. And like you're never alone.
No.
Never, unless you want to be.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's healthy too. Like sometimes you just need to sit there maybe and hang out by yourself.
That's
have a
that's
cry
good
in the
point.
back.
And I
whatever.
am that way. There's times I'll go for a ride on my motorcycle and just go park on a mountain
And just chill.
and just chill.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, it feels like the air's clearer. You know,
Yep.
it's just like, wow, this is beautiful.
That
You're
alone
looking at the
time's powerful.
sun. It's powerful. It's
Powerful.
really amazing. And you know, that's kind of getting to motorcycles. That's my outlet as far as that goes. This is my happy place. Like, you know, I told you after this, you know, I have the day off, and I'm like, man, I might just go for a ride by myself. Just go up to a canyon, stop, and it's just quiet. It's peaceful, and it's my meditation. You know, it's my outlet, and it's what I love. And everybody has their own outlet, but motorcycles is my outlet for sure. And you know, it's something I enjoy.
How'd that? You're a movie star too, pretty much.
Movie star. I don't know about that.
So you did this. You did a documentary.
Strong.
And it was super good too.
Strong,
I loved
the
watching
Destry
that.
Abbott story. And,
Yeah.
you know, we had a great group of people, the producers and all that. They got behind it. And it's on, I think it's on Amazon. It's on a lot of different, and I think it's even free now, to be honest with you.
I think I bought it on Netflix.
You might have bought it on Netflix.
Yeah,
I can't,
Or no, I didn't buy it on Netflix. It'd be free, but I bought it somewhere.
Yeah, it's on a lot of different places for free, and then you can
Oh,
purchase
Apple TV. That's where it was.
Okay,
I bought it on Apple. That's right.
So it's like a 50-minute, and it's a lot about my racing, you know, growing up, showing people the same thing as like, we didn't come from anything. I worked for a freight company, loading up trucks at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Going to school, I was trying to be a firefighter, so I was taking classes, fire science, and so
everything about your life's about giving back.
Yeah,
Everything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's what I enjoy. You know, everybody has their own place or what they want to do, and it's what I enjoy. It's what makes me happy, and you know, it's one of those things that the documentary did a really good job on showing lows and highs and the ups and downs, and it's like I thought they did a good job with it.
They did a great job.
Yeah, so it's cool, and it talks about a lot of our giving back, our foundation. It talks a little bit about the racing. It talks about health, the lows, the ups and downs, and so yeah, I was happy with the way it turned out.
I was too. I thought it was really cool.
It was
neat. That premiere. That was cool.
A lot of
people were really excited about that.
Yeah,
There's a lot of support.
Yeah, and I get a lot of people that, you know, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, that'll message and say, hey, I understand, that was cool, that really helped me out. And I'm like, that makes me feel good, you know, to know that, all right, because it's like we said, when I was younger, I was a really quiet kid, and I was really shy, and, you know, I'm still a pretty quiet person, honestly. And you're smiling, but I'm a quiet person.
I don't see it. It's funny how you see yourself and how other people do. I'm always like, dude, Des is like, what's up?
No, but I am. And I don't, you know, I didn't do well at reaching out to people. And that was something that I learned about because that was my dad. You know, I just followed in his footsteps, and he would not do that.
You're so flexible with everything too. Like when, you know, I invited you here and you come in, you're like, oh, we're on camera?
Yeah, I wore shorts. I'm like,
but I'm like, dude, this is you.
Voiceover,
this is you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this
like,
is
be
me,
you,
right.
dude. Yeah,
that is very good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even think about telling you because I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, because it's you. Like, I don't care if you're wearing a suit or a hat and a shirt. Like, it doesn't matter.
I don't wear suits.
No, yeah. I try not to either. But that was my point. You're like, okay, cool. Oh, we're on camera? Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here's my mic. Let's go to work. Like, you didn't even blink. Yeah, so, you know, when you say you're shy, that's why I was smiling, because I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
But I don't think, why be fake? Like, I don't want to be someone that I'm not. I'm like, this is who I am.
That's the truth.
I tell people, I'm like, man, I'm not a fake person. I just, you know, I'm just enjoying life.
And you have
as
so
much
much respect. And you're not flashy. You're just, you have so much respect and so much to give back and all that. And that's the key thing, I think, is that philanthropy piece, you know. And that's why this fills me up so much, because I loved being a firefighter.
Yes.
But I just couldn't do that job anymore.
I can't imagine.
And now,
you talk about the mental side. I know some firefighters, and what you saw or what you've seen and stuff like that, I'm like, man, that'd be tough. So you have your own, I don't want to say demons, but you have your own. Yeah, you have your own things that
I've worked through.
You only know about, you know. You don't want to really talk about, or you have now maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that we all have little demons that we struggle with.
And you're not comparing either, right?
No,
my demons aren't worse than anybody else's. Or, you know, one of the points of this is, you know, like one of the reasons why I brought you on the show is you don't understand, well, I don't want to say that. That was a really bad way to say it. But people need to understand that it's not just about, you know, firefighters and police and military. Everybody, your brain doesn't know the difference. Like, trauma's trauma.
Yeah.
You know, and people that are walking around can have trauma. Like, you have a ton of shit going on right now. Like, man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, somebody telling you like, hey, your end of life might be X, and you're like, shit, I only got, you know what I mean? That's freaking trauma right there. That's gnarly.
Right.
You know, it's
and
like
then you start counting down days and this, and it's like, you
that's
know,
gnarly. I can't imagine. You know, it's but then also you're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, whatever, I'll live 20 years.
Right.
You know.
And that's the way I mean, I have friends that they were told they have a year left, and one of my buddies, Steve Fox, is like 15 years now. You know, so I'm like, all right, they gave me a number, but I'm gonna try to live healthy. I'm gonna be active
and keep doing what you're doing. And that's powerful.
Exactly.
Like, your brain, I think, can heal in itself. You know, right? You're not gonna cure your cancer or nothing. Like, I don't want to be crazy. Maybe you could. I don't know.
Yeah.
but just that mindset again, that grateful mindset, giving back, it fills you up, and you live a life of abundance now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a great family. Charlotte's going through a really hard time. I'm really sorry. I wish she
Yeah.
could have been here.
Yeah, I wish she could have been here, but
but-
she's relaxing on the bed right now. So
Yeah, and when I talked to her on the phone, when I asked you to do this,
Yeah.
you went. I think you were getting a blood test or something in Dallas
Yeah.
or whatever. And she gets on the phone. She's like, "Hey, how you doing, Frey?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You wouldn't even know."
Exactly.
She's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
And
"Oh,
I tell
yeah, yeah."
her, and I tell her that sometimes I go, babe, when people come over and do see you, you're too upbeat. You're too, and I'm the same way. I'm guilty of that.
Like
too.
using up all your energy to show them like you're
and
okay.
then as
when
soon
you-
as they leave, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm hurting so bad." And she's crying, and I'm like,
I'm not laughing for that. I'm
"Babe,
laughing
no,
because
I
like
understand.
the level of
Yeah.
like I want to make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
not about me.
And that's why I'm like, babe, you need to be honest sometimes to let people understand that you are hurting. You're not in a good place right now.
Yeah.
But you're putting on a front a little bit too much for them because you want them to feel good that you're doing
Yeah.
great. But I'm like, babe, there's times that, and there's days that she does great. Don't get me
Right,
wrong.
right.
But then there's days where I'm like, I wish she would just be a little more honest.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why are you holding that in? Like, don't.
Right.
It's like, that's we were just talking about depression and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people I know that are really happy and they look like things are great. And then they're not doing great. And
that
I'm like,
goes back to that.
That's
that
what you
truth.
guys are great about.
Yeah.
You know, it's
that's
like,
what, man, you know, hey, how's your day?
yeah.
Man, you know, today's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
I just had a little bit, you know, I'm just kind of
Exactly.
having one of those days where I'm a little bit off, you know,
Yeah.
like Shelly this morning, she came
Yeah.
in and I was like, "Hey man, you cool?"
Right.
She's like, "Man, I'm a little bit gray."
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh really? That's gonna last 3 seconds
Yeah.
until, you know what I mean? Until you give your shit or something."
Right,
But-
exactly.
But also just having that truth, and then
Yes.
people will support you. And the funny thing about that is you say depression and you say like, you know, telling people really how you feel and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you tell people how you feel when they're there, they can support you.
Right.
And if you hold it in and you put on this front, then when they leave, then you're by yourself, and you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
that support with somebody there, like you're saying with Dan taking you to dinner, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, anything. You text somebody, you text them. You know what I'm saying? Like any kind of support. If you're truthful, then you have that support. If you're telling everybody you're okay,
Yes.
then how can they help you?
It's just going to be worse. It's just going to
Yeah.
snowball and just get worse and
Yeah.
worse because they think you're doing great. You're
you-
smiling and
And you try and protect the self-image that's not even real.
Yes.
You know, like, oh, I'm this, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, but like you're not actually helping anybody with
That's
anything. You know, it's all
exactly-
fake. It's all bullshit then.
And you're
you know?
hurting yourself and
Yeah.
then,
And everybody else too.
Exactly.
And you
Yeah.
said something earlier about, you know, and I know you get this from the foundation too, but since we've been doing these videos, I get all kinds of messages from people about, "Oh my God, I can relate. Oh my God, I love what you're doing. Oh, you know, this same thing happened to me. Thank you so much." Family members
Yeah.
reached out to me and they're like, "Oh, I think we lived the same childhood." And I'm like, "What?" Like this is multi-generational. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're breaking that now, like you are
Yeah.
right now. You know, you're talking, you're, you know, helping Coop and making sure that, you know, he sees that a man can have emotions and a man can, you know, grow in that way and all that kind of stuff. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
We're breaking that mindset.
I think it's lately things have changed a lot like
Yeah.
that as far as men are able to open up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I consider myself still old school, tough guy or whatever, but I don't have a problem opening up anymore.
Right.
And, you know, and I just was raised that's not what you do.
Aren't you happier?
Oh, I'm way happier. I'm way
Yeah.
happier. Yeah. And I'm like, like I said, I'm just in a good place. And I don't think that's a weakness. You know, a lot of people took that as a weakness. I think the older generation and, you know, it's just like, even the world we're in right now, it's like, man, there's just a lot of negative. It's just like, man, people just need to open up a little bit more and not be afraid to speak out. And
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
there's too many people speaking out about certain things, but it's like now
Yeah.
everybody feels like they can say what they want. And sometimes that has a repercussion. Sometimes
Right.
if you say things that you really need to think about before you say, because that's going to affect other people as far as a negative.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're depressed or whatever by you opening up. And I'm like, oh,
You keep making choices. Like your whole life is a choice. Like, you know, you wanted to be a champion. You're a
Yeah.
champion. You want to be married. You're married. You know what I mean? You want to have kids. You have kids. And you want to beat cancer, and you're beating it. And Charlotte will too, I'm sure. And it's just like you keep making choices. You make a choice to stay in your marriage. You make a choice to make that work. But you make choices every day, and you always make the choice that's positive because that's your mindset.
Right.
You know, you're not like, "Oh, woe is me." And I think that's the message, right? You make that choice. You keep that mindset. You stay
Yeah.
grateful. You stay appreciative. You stay, you know, even in adversity, you're absolutely still 100% all in, grateful. And you're like, "I'm going to fight." That's who you are, right? But that's your choice to do
That's
that.
exactly it.
Yeah.
It's choice.
You created your personality. I mean, you
Right.
are the person that you created, by making choices, by putting
And
yourself
we
in
all
situations.
that way. Everybody
Yeah.
has their own choice, what they want to do, the life they want to live, or what they want to try to live, I should say. And
And you have the power to do it.
you have the power, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great message, man.
No, that's awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really
Absolutely,
appreciate it.
Scott.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's an honor to
Thank
have
you
you
for
here.
having me.
Yeah.
And I love what you're doing. And
I appreciate it.
I'm sure I'll be reaching out too. So,
Yeah, no, do.
Yeah.
I'd love it. I'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
thank you, everybody, for watching. This was Destry Abbott and Scott Freymuller here on The Knot. Appreciate it.